What's up, Internet? This is another edition of Mole's Main Event. Today will be sort of a look back edition with the recent retirement of Edge. Got to thinking of a lot of the matches that he and feuds that he was involved in, and led me to create this list of the top 10 feuds and storylines of the 2000s. So let's get right into it. First, an honorable mention. I feel like I should mention this just because this is, and I do want to say something about this. The criteria is build up. Of course, well, it's two main criteria. It's the build up and the matches, and there's another sort of X factor, like how to keep it fresh. I guess maybe you'd call it freshness. I don't know, but that's why. Spoiler alert: John Cena and Randy Orton aren't on this because it's the same damn thing every time. Because every time you see it, it's just like again. Anyway, an honorable mention, I think, and this pertains only to the WWE. Okay, honorable mention: Lita and Trish Stratus. Any feud they had back in back in the 2000s. I mean, those are the two top divas, the hardest working, and I think that also the Edge versus Matt Hardy scenario, along with that involved Lita. That was a great one too. Let's start off with number 10. Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho in 2009, in like sort of the post WrestleMania period of 2009. I thought that the build up to this was great, underrated, and the matches were just wow, they were good. It's like, these guys had known each other for so long, and they like went out there, and Jericho was pulling moves out of nowhere that he hadn't been done since WCW, which I really like. I like their Extreme Rules match, like their match to the badge, the match for his title, the whole thing about that. I saw in the DVD with Jericho that the reason why he liked that feud so much, it's just like, he's the ultimate like bully. Why does he want the mask? Just because he wants it. So like the Joker and like Batman. Edge versus Undertaker comes in at number 9. Of course, they had a year-plus long feud. All of them had great matches. It started in 2007 on SmackDown when Edge cashed in his Money in the Bank to become World Heavyweight Champion, and didn't necessarily culminate in WrestleMania, but one of the high points in the match was definitely that they main evented WrestleMania, and they were one of the better matches on one of the two best matches on the card, the other being Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. These guys had great banter back and forth. Edge with his Edge heads and Vicky Guerrero and all that. Having to ban his Hell's Gate hold. I thought that was a great feud. Number 8, Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk in the summer of 2009. This feud is essentially what made CM Punk a main man in the WWE. He became a main event attraction because of that feud. He is one of the top heels in there, and it was one of the first times you really got to see him flex his muscle on the mic, and he's so good at it. And I remember distinctly watching SmackDown and seeing him being like, you like do all your drugs and like you do all your stuff. I'm clean, I'm sober, and I'm better than you. And I think it was just a great juxtaposition, and I thought it was a great way for Jeff Hardy to go out. Their TLC match at SummerSlam, I think, was the best way to send him out in a big way. Then of course he loses on SmackDown to get himself off of the WWE, and now he's at TNA and kind of a junkie. Love you, Jeff. But yeah, it's number 8. Number 7, on those same lines. The Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys. While the build up to this was not all that great because, I mean, it was mostly carried by Edge and Christian, who were far and away the best talkers. But all of these matches that involved these guys, that involved tables and ladders and chairs, oh my, were just classics. I mean, they stole the show 2 WrestleManias in a row. That's how good it was. I really liked watching it, and yeah, I mean, it made the Hardys and Edge and Christian stars. Without their feud and, you know, going over the tag titles like that, Edge and Christian would be on an indie show somewhere, and the Hardys would be doing more drugs than they do now. Love the Hardys, though. Number 6, Batista and Triple H. This one was good. It was the main event at WrestleMania 21, and I think it really, this is what made Batista. I think without this feud, Batista is not a main eventer. I mean, he's, you know, definitely got the body, but, you know, so does Mason Ryan right now in the WWE. And who knows, he may be, who's that? In a couple years. But I thought the match was delivered pretty well. They had a good feud, great banner between the two. It really showed that he can carry his own on the mic. Yeah, so that's number 6. Number 5, Brock Lesnar versus Kurt Angle in 2003. This headlined WrestleMania, but that was not their best match. Mostly because Brock tried that shooting star press and gave himself a concussion that will make anybody wince. So, God, thinking about that now, it's, ugh. Angle's not really all that safe when it comes to spots either. If any of y'all watch Lockdown, I'll talk about that on another edition. But yeah, I think the Iron Man match between these two on SmackDown was, I think, their best moment. I think the whole banner between the two about how they respect each other, then they didn't like each other, Team Angle getting involved. I really liked that, and it was what made SmackDown probably the better brand for the first part of the 2000s. It's not that cold. Number 4, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. This feud started back in mid-2002, but really sort of like came to a close WrestleMania 24. You can also throw Chris Benoit in there if you want to count for WrestleMania 24, but you know, these guys feuded on and off for like a year and a half, and you know, their matches were good. And you know, Michaels and Triple H can talk their ass off, but I think it was the inclusion of Chris Benoit at WrestleMania 20 that really sent this over the roof. You know, you had so many angles going there. You know, Michaels, Triple H trying to settle it. Chris Benoit, Michaels for Michaels stealing a spot, and Triple H and Chris Benoit just because that was the person he originally wanted to have the title shot with. All that, you know, plus the whole history with DX. Thought that was great. So yeah, Michaels, Triple H, number 4. Parentheses, Chris Benoit. Number 3, I may get some hate on this, but screw it. Cena and Edge. John Cena versus Edge. You could pick either their 2006 feud over the WWE title with, you know, matches at SummerSlam and Unforgiven, or you can go to their feud WrestleMania season for WrestleMania 25, and it's just, you know, people dog Cena about not having great technique, and a lot of their criticism is well founded. He's not the best worker. Neither was Hogan. But for some reason, he and Edge just clicked, and they had great chemistry, you know, and their personalities clashed very well, and a lot of their matches were really good, especially the TLC match at Unforgiven in 2006, and their match in the Last Man Standing match, their Last Man Standing match, at Backlash in 2009. I thought were the high points. Number 2, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. You can't tell me that this feud is not one of the best ever. I mean, it's the best. It's one of the best matches I've ever seen. WrestleMania 25. They also had a great one at 2010, but that's not the one I'm talking about because that's outside of the 2000s. That's in the 2010s, which I'll do 10 years from now, in which I'll be much more fat and bloated and probably have some illegitimate children. Yeah, Michaels and Taker, just the whole build up to that, and then the delivery with Michaels coming down with the white, and then Undertaker coming up with all the black on. It's a work of art. It was a work of art. And, yeah, it was great. Number 1, shouldn't be any surprise to anybody. The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, before you say anything, I know their first match and the first build-up was in 1999 at WrestleMania 15. I'm aware, but you've also got to realize that, they headlined WrestleMania 2001 and semi-headlined 2003. The 2003 match was not that great, but just, you have to take into account. It's The Rock and Austin. It's, the two greatest guys, two greatest workers, two of the biggest personalities in the WWE's history. And whenever they got together, it was magic. And that's just that. So, those are my opinions. What are your opinions? You should put your opinions down there. And, yeah, come back at you with another episode soon. Mole's Main Event out.